But that.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I'm with my friends, as a matter of fact. Their names are Willie Walls and Odell Blocker, the great Swame. It is week number 6, guys, and we've got the biggest game on the planet, the Bills and Chiefs. I mean, the only question is, can you be foolish enough not to include this game in your lineups and still come out victorious? Willie Walls, what are you doing with this big game?
I'm going to be honest with you. I love the Bills side. Love the Bills side. This is not my favorite game. I mean, I like this game. The 4:00 game. I mean, because when you talk about it, let me get to my notes here. The Bills this year, 47% of their drives they reached the red zone to score. Okay, now against the Chiefs last year, and they're better this year. Trust me, they're better this year. Against the Chiefs last year, they scored on 50% of their drives, 9 touchdowns against the Chiefs last year. Now what you're talking about is against number 1 receivers. These guys have been hit up. Now listen to some of these receivers. They've been hit up. Brown hit him for Arizona, 443-1. Pittman had 8-7-2. Williams 8-13-1. Adams, you saw what he did last week. Now they got a healthy Gabe Davis with the ankle showing, and you know what Gabe did last year to him? He lit him up like a firecracker. Now you come on, man. And now you bring it back. What's his name is back? The slot receiver's back this week. Are you kidding me? Allen, Mr. Allen. Last year, he was all right. 315, 317, threw for 7 touchdowns in 3 games. And you saw what happened when he got stole. He's going to be mad because of what happened last year. Oh, listen, let me tell you something. I love the Bills side, but I'm going to tell you one thing. The only Kansas City guy I would think about putting my lineup is Van Scantlin, and that's it, including Mr. Kelsey. He went for 4 touchdowns, but guess what? He's not my number 1 tight end this week. Sorry, you can have it, but I love the Bills this week.
Swami, are you in line with what Willie is saying here? Because I agree with him. I can't find one Chief that I'm like dying to bring it back with. And if I can't bring it back with a Chief, part of me says maybe I just play a piece in this game. Maybe a Singletary, maybe a Davis, maybe a McKenzie, and I don't have to go all in on it.
Doc, I think he was making the case, for insanity. The fact that he can't find a Kansas City Chief to come back other than Valdez-Scantling. I'm not mad with Mr. Scantling, but clearly that was outrageous. And here's why. This game has been nothing less than a shootout. This game has been nothing less than fireworks. We've gotten everything we've wanted from this game the last 4 times these teams have met. And now we're saying we can't find anybody. And
the difference is Tyreek Hill opened up everything. They don't have that this year. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. I'm removing the eye pro early. Mr. Travis Big Game Kelsey. He watches this show. He's a huge fan. How you doing, Mr. Kelsey? I know he can't believe what he's hearing right now. Are you kidding me? Mr.
First
Travis
of all, let me
Big
ask you
Game
something,
Kelsey?
sir. Let me ask you something. I know he got the 4 touchdowns, but what do the Bills do against tight ends? What do they do against tight ends?
Shut them down. They shut them down.
Okay? They shut them down. Case in point, Mr. Andrews. Case in point, what did he have? 2 catches for 19 yards?
Pat Fryermuth had 1 catch.
Mm-hmm. They say, oh, click, 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 clap, Click, 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 click. Lock him up. You're going to jail. We know you got 25 yards last week, but you're going to jail. You won't beat us. Somebody else, Hardman, Van Scantley, one of those guys got to beat him. Kelsey won't beat him. I guarantee you that.
See,
I won't have
Doc,
Kelsey in one lineup.
Doc, this is why that ESPN show had that mute button on it. This is exactly why. This is outrageous. Let me tell you why. Against the Buffalo Bills, Travis Kelsey has 2 touchdowns in that game. Okay, 15 targets, 13 receptions, 118, 2 touchdowns in that game. Okay, he's got 10 targets, a touchdown in that game. He's got all 96 yards, 8 receptions, another touchdown in that game. He's against this team. The last 2 games at home, he's averaging 20. If you go back and you include them all, he's 25 against the Bills.
Sir, that's
outrageous.
That's with Mr. Tyreek Roadrunner Hill.
Swami, how could you even afford Kelsey? If you want Allen and you want a couple of Bills, you can't even afford Kelsey. You'd be going Wan'Dale Robinson all over the place.
Kelsey is a complete fade for me in this game. Fade.
This guy
I won't have
again.
One lineup. Because I tight end that I'm interested in. Yes, sir. Now we talk about the other tight end. Then we can talk some. Plus, I can save some money, and he's going to eat them up. Eat them up. I got it. You'll get to it later. But I'm just telling you, I won't play that rascal. No.
Clearly, he hit the happy hour a little early this evening. It's okay. That's my good buddy. Let me tell you how you can afford them this week, Doc. Because for some reason, the NFL has a fire sale on running backs this week. You got all kinds of guys stepping in the starting roles because of injuries. You got personal reasons why we got, some folks out. You got a number of different reasons why you might be able to get it done. How about Mr. Benjamin? But again, I don't want to how about Mr. Walker? But again, Doc, I don't want to jump the gun. We got other games to get to here. I think you can do it this week.
I'm just going to say one other thing. There is a slight chance that I may fade this game entirely. And here's why. Just take this for what it is. Game theory. If 40% of the crowd is on this game, maybe I need to be one of the 60% who's not on this game. All right, I see where you're going with that. Just know I said it. If this game is 28-3,
I'm going to have parts of this game. But I will have. This is not the game where I have most of my, resources at. This is not it.
This game could go up for 80+ points. I don't think you can take this game.
All right. What about the Cardinals Seahawks? Is this the game that Willie Walls wants to stack? Is this the game with Kyler and Geno and DK and Lockett and Eno and Ertz and Disley and Rondell Moore? I could keep going, but I'll let Willie keep going.
Okay. So let me just. This is where I got more stuff than anything. Let me go down this sheet so I can give you some stats for your hind pots in this game. Now we're talking, okay? Now, number 1, Arizona. Now, this is the tale of 2 halves. Arizona in the first quarter has been outscored 38-0. They've been horrible in the first quarter, And Seattle has scored 62.5% of their first half possession. Seattle comes out blazing fire. But in the second half, the Cardinals are scoring on 57% of their possessions, which is number 1 in the league. So they make great adjustments. Now, Seattle, 26% in the second half. But Seattle has allowed 6 TDs from outside the red zone, the most in the league. The Seahawks has scored a season-high 8 TDs from the red zone. Geno, I can't believe Geno. Listen, when I saw this stat, I said, Geno? The Geno that I know? He has been awesome. Now, the only call for pause I'm going to give you, the last 3 games, Arizona's pass defense has been better. Now, let me say that. It's been better. Now, Geno has a league high 15 yards for 45.2 for fantasy points. Seattle has allowed 39.2 points, 15 yards, they number 34. So they give it up and they also take it. But let me say this. Kyler Murray, this is the first time that I'm interested in Mr. Kyler Murray this year. Because why? Seahawks are allowing 8.9 yards per attempt and 13.3 per completion. Then you got Geno Smith, the past 2 weeks, has been a quarterback 7, 2, and 4. Listen. Smith, okay, what now? This is what Geno will get him on. Against blitzes, which Arizona blitzes 40% of the time, Geno eats that up, though. He has a 123.6 passer rating. And against the zone blitz, guess who's number 1 in the league? Geno surprising Smith. 134.5. 20 of 23 for 2 TDs. Now, that's just those guys. Then you talk about Mr. I'm going to go where Mr. Swame talked about. Mr. Eno Benjamin, a man of great interest this week. In mid-game, he had 11 touches for 53 yards and a touchdown. Now, what is Seattle giving up? Oh, just 4.9.5 yards per carry and 17.9 rushing points per game and 12.7 receiving points per game, which is in Mr. Benjamin's wheelhouse. So I agree with Swami what he said. And then you're talking about, now the thing you got to cause for pause is this. Now, Metcalf, all right, he's a complete fade this game, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Against number 1 receivers, and they play some number 1 receivers. Let me give you some stuff for you. Mr. Adams, 2-12-1. Mr. Cup, 4 for 44. A.J. Brown, 3 for 32. No thank you on Mr. Metcalf. But Mr. Lockett, last 4 games, 9, 107, 976, 691, 5, 104, and 4. And the last 4 games against these boys, I don't know. I think somebody did something to Mr. Lockett's mother than what he does to the Cardinals. I mean, he is, 598-2, 4-115, 967-1, and last year, 15,203. Somebody did something to Mr. Lockett's mother. Let me tell you something. That's why this game is yes, and yes. And the reason I like Lockett against opposing slot receivers, Seattle gives up 3 TDs. Man, and then we ain't even talking about Mr. Ertz. They got the supreme matchup going against the Seahawks. Man, I love this game. And yes, and Mr. Walker's in play, but I'm not going to play him as much, but he is in play. Let me tell you something. There's this fantasy goodness just spurting all over the place in this game. Yes, and yes.
Swami, do you like this game as much as Willie Walls does?
Doc, I see how my good buddy Charles Barkley made Shaquille O'Neal feel on Inside the NBA. This guy just took the whole set. Share, Willie. Let me play with the ball too. Anyway, Doc, I like this game. My goodness. But let me tell you, I think the way that Geno, number 1 rated quarterback, yes, he has the highest rating in the league at 113 Walls. You were spot on, but he is the number 1 rated QB right now. I think what he has been able to do with that offense, he's spreading a lot of love. And that's why I do like what he's doing, getting the ball to Metcalf. Really surprised, but I respect when you're able to go and do it in the dome, that means something to me. When you're able to do it against guys like Marshawn and those cornerbacks and those DBs that they got in New Orleans, I think you can do it in Arizona. And you didn't mention Mr. Walker, who's going to be stepping in, and he should have that backfield to himself. He may give a couple of carries away, but for the most part, it should be all him. So with Mr. Geno behind there, I think everybody on the offense. I guess if we knew who it was playing for tight end, I don't know when Noah Fant will show up. Did anybody let him know when camp started? Anyway, Noah, if you're out there, buddy, hey, come on in. Join the team. The season started. Starting soon, Noah. It's just October 14th. Whenever you're ready, buddy, we here for you. But anyway, Doc, and on the other side, not only do I like Ertz, not only do I like Moore, not only do I like Benjamin, I think Mr. Murray, who's averaging 20 fantasy points per game, surprisingly, through all of their struggles, he has been finding some kind of way to get to be decent. Now he get the friendly Seahawks who may just allow him to break out of his funk. Watch out for Mr. Kyler Murray.
I want to ask a question here, and I think this is a very important question. We spend a lot of time on the show trying to figure out how games will succeed. How does this game fail? Does this game fail?
No.
No.
If you say how, maybe they able to move the ball between the 20s. They get in the red zone and they don't get it in, and maybe you see the kickers kick more than 3-4 kicks.
Does it fail if Kenneth Walker gets 2 rushing touchdowns and Gino's not throwing the ball? Does it fail if Kyler runs some in and he's not chucking it to Brown or Ertz?
I think both defenses are going to allow both offenses opportunities. And because of that, I think it'll give us the kind of back and forth that's needed for fantasy goodness. That's why between those 2 games, I don't know how you can fade them. It's like you have to have some part of it. Like you have to have Lockett in there. You have to pick one of those receivers from Kansas City. It's nowhere at home. They're just getting blanked. It's like you got to pick a piece.
But that's the thing I don't like. What I like about Buffalo, who's going to get the ball. You know who's going to get the ball. What I don't like about Kansas City, it's a hot
GPP.
Yeah, and it can be ass TP. I'm just going to go to guys that I know. I know more going against Seattle because Seattle is horrible against slot. You could play both slots in the game. You could play Lockett and Moore together. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to get the targets. I can't say that I can't say that for Kansas City. I can't, and for that, therefore, I can't go there.
All right, let me give you guys a game where we know this team is going to put up points. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Tom Brady, who's going to throw 303. You got Mike Evans, who did not perform last week. He is due, as Willie would say. He's like 17 months pregnant. You got Chris Godwin, who they shut down in the second half. They didn't even put him out there. This team is going up against Pittsburgh, whose defense is absolutely a train wreck. But they also have Pickens and Deontay and Najee. They got guys that you could bring it back with, Willie. Do we like this game as an under-the-radar game if the Steelers can keep it close?
Because of the injuries that Tampa Bay has in the secondary, it may be. But again, Brady, Godwin, and smash spot. Pittsburgh has given up 28 plays over 20 yards. 28 over 20 yards. So Brady's going. It's going to be ugly in this game. Now, the only one that I'm really interested in, I don't mind as a tight end, is Gentry. Since Freiermuth, he's out, then I'm interested in Gentry at $2,600. I think he's a man of interest. He had 6 catches, 5 catches, 60-something yards. I think he's a man of interest because how did you beat Tampa Bay? You beat them through the middle, through the tight end. That's one of the keys there. So that's a guy, and then you got Pickens that you can run it back with. But I'm more interested on the Tampa side of the house. I'm not big. And good look, I definitely don't want the running back. Tampa Bay gonna put a whooping on these boys. So, y'all might have a lot of interest in that. I just got Gentry and Pickens, maybe the running back, but that's it. But Tampa Bay is in a smash spot.
So, you like this game?
No, and the reason why last week will be a great example. I am so tired of the Tampa Bay receivers going down at the 1. Great call on Walls last week with Leonard Fournette. We thought Brady was in a smash spot then, and he wasn't. I see the game going very similar. Give up big plays. Mike Evans will go out at the 1. Some kind of way, Godwin will find a way to fall down at the 2. Fournette will run it in from the 1. I'm just so tired of the Fournette from the 1 and his 30-point games while Brady just kind of gets the win and is on cruise control. It feels icky. I think the Steelers defense might maybe slow down the big plays. Godwin might get more than 10 targets over the middle, and then Fournette will be running it in from the 1. They'll have 2 or 3 long drives. They'll control the game. Brady will get out of there. Jersey will be clean for the most part. I don't think Pittsburgh, even at home, will be able to put up much of a fight. No, I don't think I'm even interested from any perspective. Maybe a piece, like you said, if you want to take Pickens or Gentry on that side. Maybe a piece if you take a flyer on Evans or Godwin. But no, I'm tired of the GOAT. No.
All right, let me give you another game that's not good. It's not good, but there's 3 players who are good. Okay. Lamar, Saquon, Mark Andrews. Start with that. And then you fill it in with other people from other games. Can we run that, Willie, and make some money?
So this is an interesting thing. So Lamar is also one of the top people against the blitz. Now, we saw last week, he missed 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was just wide open, you know. So cause for pause is, remember, their coordinator is the one that dealt with the Ravens, you know. But Lamar is, a lot of people not talking about Lamar this week. He's definitely in play against this team because that's what they do. They blitz. And, you know, so, you know, you could have an Andrews, Lamar, and Duvernay has showed a little something to me, you know. And then, you know, you can run against them, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna have too much of Barkley because I got other guys and price points that I like better this week. But if I did do that, I can have a Barkley and run it with a Lamar, you know, I could run Lamar, you know, in a tight end, you know. So I see what you're talking about, but it's not my favorite, but it's definitely, you know, of interest for sure because the Giants blitz all the time, and Lamar has been eating the blitz up this year.
All right, Swami, you don't have to spend a lot of time on this one. Just a quick yes or no, unless you have something to say about it. I'll give you another one.
Doc, I just happen to know more about this team than any doggone team in the league. And when you talk about fantasy goodness, I would say absolutely not. One, price too close to where Kelsey and Allen is, right? Not for this week. I get it. Just like I said last week when you asked about the Bills, even when you talked about the blog, and I said, well, Doc, you got to remember Allen can always go for 40. So that for that reason, he's always a play because he got the ceiling. This Giants defense, this Giants football team is for real. Everybody better know that they are here to play. They are competing, and they are bringing it every week. My Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens, I'll repeat, my Ravens, we might have the worst coaching situation in the league right now. I just don't think they get it. They don't understand when to go for it. They don't understand momentum. They don't understand, how to set things up and how to call a game plan from start to finish to win a game. And the Giants team are putting pressure on you. They're able to run the ball, and you're not able to always run the ball against the Ravens. So I don't necessarily like just lining up Saquon to come back at his price, but I think the way the Giants run the ball, the way they call a game, I think they may wear down the Ravens eventually. This game is going to be closer than what people think. If you like the kickers, they're going to be involved. But I think my Ravens, I hate to say it, lose a close one. Maybe they win a close one.
All right, let me give you guys a game that I think is really, really, really under the radar. And this game could blow up. The Packers against the Jets. The Packers were humiliated last week in London. Now they come home. You know Aaron Rodgers has 3 touchdowns in that arm. The Jets are just good enough to keep that game close. Can we get behind an Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon or Romeo Doubs or Breece Hall, any of that, Willie, or is this a complete pass for you?
I mean, he was going to be my guy that balls to the wall call. I think Dubs is in play this game. I think he's really in play this game. He had some unfortunate things that happened in that Giants game, and to Swame's point, the Giants defense has been playing a lot better this year. They're not that dump, even though the thing that gets me is they got a couple of injuries in the secondary this week that I have to watch. But Dubs is definitely in play this game. He definitely is. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Doc. I probably won't because the Jets team have been a little better than people think. I mean, I looked at, I said they 3-2. I said, oh my gosh, and I do like that. But they playing in Green Bay. I think Green Bay gonna be a little salty, So yeah, I do like the Packer side, but I can't play the backs. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nah, I can't play the backs for Green Bay. No, thank you on that on the backs. But I am interested in Mr. Romeo Doubs. I like him a lot. I think he might have that. He might have that 100-yard, 1 touchdown, and possibly 2 touchdowns. Get one deep from Rodgers. He's definitely a man of interest for me.
All right, Swami, I've got a narrative play for you, and this is the ticket narrative. This is My family ordered 30 tickets so they can watch me play in New Orleans narrative.
Mr. Chase.
There's no way Mr. Chase is not in every single one of my lineups narrative with a little Alvin Kamara correlation right there. Can you get behind that, Swami?
Doc, again, I feel like this one, it don't feel right. That's all I can tell you. It feels like New Orleans at home. It's just not. I know what Lockett. I know what Lockett did. I know what Jefferson was able to do. I saw what happened. What Baltimore was able to do to the Bengals offense last week. I don't know. That offense is struggling. They are not the Minnesotas with Jefferson, and they are not number one passer rating Geno Smith with Tyler Lockett. They're just not that. And I just don't think that I want to take that chance. I'll let you guys have it.
I could not agree with you less.
No thanks.
Joe Burrow played at LSU. Jamar Chase from Louisiana. They are coming to play. They're going to bring the points. Bringing the points. Book it.
And I will say this. I do have interest in Chase because the Saints, with what's that number one corner?
Lattimore's out.
He's out, And they listen, the last few weeks, and I got this written down. Justin Jefferson, the last 2 weeks, 10 of 147. And last week, 588-1 for Metcalf and Lockett 5-104-2. This will be the first time because the way they play defense, man, their defensive backs are horrible this year. It's been surprising. The Saints defense is not what they've been. So I think
most of that was against Lattimore. Watch the zone. Baltimore showed you what to do last week. Watch out. That's all.
I know, but Baltimore.
So I agree with that. You have to zone Chase. You go man to man, cover one. It's over. It's over.
But I'm not going to have Chase in every lineup, but I will have a little piece of Mr. Chase because I think, and going back home, that means something.
Well, don't get me wrong. It's still Mr. Chase, right? Like it's not like we going out on a limb. I just don't feel right.
All right, let me give you a couple more, one game and then one player in another game, and then we'll start wrapping it up. Vikings, Dolphins. Willie, is this sneaky? You got a little Jefferson there, a little Kirk Cousins, maybe a little Waddle, a little Hill. What you thinking about this one?
Yeah, Jefferson is only 4 targets behind Cup this year. Jefferson, listen, Miami in trouble. They without Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. They in trouble, Kirk Cousins is one of those sneaky plays this week. He really is. This is right here. 29% of the Vikings first down plays have produced a first down or a TD. 37% of the Vikings plays have produced a first down or a touchdown. Listen, Miami allows 7.5 yards per pass play. Man, 12.1 yards and the 25th. Man, they are giving it up. And without those guys, listen, Mr. Jefferson is coming to the house. I definitely have some interest in Mr. Jefferson this week, and I think Kirk Cousins you could double stack it if you want to do Thielen too. I'm just telling you this game right here, and I don't like nobody on Miami side.
Nobody.
No, thank you.
All right, Swami, let me give you a guy. This guy is very important to this slate. He may be the key to the slate. Ramondre Stevenson. Going to get a lot of touches, going to get a lot of ownership. Do I need him on my roster to be your rich friend?
I think in a good spot. Last year, I think he had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, week 10. I think he'll get the touches this week. I think the backfield is his. I'm not mad at that play at all. And even though I think he'll get some ownership, I just still think it's a really good play, especially with him. He'll probably get more of that 3-down role here and get some of those targets out of the backfield as well. So I like him a lot. But I don't know if you absolutely need him. And I only say that because I feel like I still want to continue to target the games where it's going to be a little bit of, how can I say it, where I feel like the team will either put up a bunch of points or they'll have a chance. Cleveland's still a tough team. I don't know if New England will. This is one of them games where whoever has that early advantage, whoever's kind of controlling it, I think that backfield is going to control the game. And I don't know if they're going to be able to go up to Cleveland and just push them around. That's the only thing I'm concerned with, but I do like Stevens.
All right, Willie, $100.
He's probably my favorite back of the slate, Mr. Stevenson. Listen, you saw what happened with Eckler last week. I mean, they are giving up 5.94 yards per carry. Last year, when he was figuring stuff out, he had, what did he have last year? He had 27 touches, 114 yards. Listen, you saw what happened last week when he had 27 touches, 175 yards. Listen, the Browns they're giving 19.7 rushing points to the back. This is his backfield. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is with Cleveland this year, but man, their run defense sucks.
Doc, timeout. It's only been Eckler. Patterson, nothing. Harris, nothing. Hall, nothing.
Are you kidding? No, sir.
McCaffrey, nothing.
Sir. Everybody has run the ball against them. Are you kidding?
9 fantasy points, 14, 13, 15.
Everybody, they give up 5.94 yards.
Yeah, but you don't have Clowney, and that's big this week. All right, guys, let's push this along. Willie, $100. Give me the stack. I have a feeling it's going to be a stack out in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, it's going to be the Arizona game, Arizona, Seattle. It's no question. That's going to be game stacked. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to have a game stack of that game, and it's affordable. And then you could get your little pieces like if you want your Diggs or your Gabe Davis or something like that from that game. I'm gonna tell you, this game, if this game failed, this no, I closed my computer up, okay? Because I'm gonna have more exposure on this game than any other game on the slate. I love this is my favorite game, and you can stack it any way you want to stack it on this game right here.
All right, Swami, your $100 bill. Where's it going, my friend?
It's going without question to the Midwest. I'm going to have Mr. Allen last two trips last year, 39 fantasy points and 40 fantasy points. He's averaging over 33 or something like that this year. It's a no-brainer. Don't overthink it. Don't convince yourselves that you got to have some mystery nobody can see play. Sometimes just taking the ones right in front of you and just finding that piece. Mr. Allen and pieces of this game are going to get it done. He likes Gabe Davis. I like Mr. Diggs. You figure it out if you want Kelsey or Valdez-Scantling coming back, and you make it happen. Don't overthink it. No question.
I like that game, but I just like that game better. But listen, we're not disrespecting Mr. Allen, sir.
Okay. I just want.
We're not. No. I'm just saying, but I got more in this in this game.
I need the balls to the walls call, Willie Walls.
Romeo Dubs. Romeo Dubs this week. I like Romeo Dubs a lot. I think he's a very interesting guy. And let me give another one. More for the Cardinals.
Rondale, right?
Love.
Is that your guy, Swami?
No, but one player move on. He's been greedy again. Get out of here, greedy.
Who's your guy, Swami? What Swami says who?
I'm gonna go Darius Slayton. I know we talked about that game just briefly, but I think he has some opportunities. Remember that Ravens defense has kind of been up and down. I think they're gonna have to try to stop that running game, and he might get 7-8 targets, maybe do something special.
I'm mad at that.
My visionary play of the week is Breece Hall. Dude has looked awesome. Green Bay cannot stop the run. You guys seem to forget that. Everybody seems to forget that. We're looking here when right here is Green Bay sucks at stopping the run, and Breece Hall can run and he can catch.
No more RB1s for Swami says visionary or big ball. That's all I'm asking for, guys. No more RB1s.
I'll give you one because I'll get greedy. Wan'Dale Robinson.
Oh, okay.
I like that. There
I like that. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I agree because I'm like, oh.
I think they're gonna scheme some plays for that dude.
Okay, I could get with that because they're gonna have opportunities. That's gonna be a good game to watch.
Yeah.
All right. Hate to rush us out, but guys, I'm also on the Better Sports Network tonight. Watch that show. Download the app. We're talking football all night. We're talking football at SiriusXM. But right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. For my friends Willie Walls and the great Swami, this is Dr. Roto saying be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.